Okay, hello. Hello. I think this is working. Let me just check. Okay, I am live. This is going to be Sloppy Gamedev number 3. This is making a game in Rust with Claude. And this is a stream, so let's see how far we can get today. I'll make my font a bit larger in VS Code. And then let's start. Oh, I just had to merge some conflicts, so let me see where I'm up to. What is that? Okay, unmerge paths. I think I resolved the conflicts. Okay. Not a very smooth start. Let's see if we can run and see where we were up to. So this is the third one I've done. I did 2 sessions before trying to make a game with Claude in Rust. And it's like a train station simulator. So I'll show you where I got up to on the previous 2 sessions, and I've got some good plans. I've been actually thinking about this a little bit, planning it ahead, so I'll see how it goes. My neighbours are blaring music, which is quite annoying. Okay, so this is Hotline. Then we have Rat Race. Okay, so this was the first day. The first one, basically. These are trains. These are people. It's like a train station. The people don't rotate correctly. This was all Claude generated code. I tried to steer it along, but it kind of made something, but it doesn't really behave how you want to. There's tons of bugs in it. And in general, I was like, I don't know. I find some stuff with AI generated code. It's like, it's deceptive. You know, it's it does stuff, and you're like, cool, that's good. And then actually, once you start digging into it, you're like, well, it's not going to be able to make a game. So this is generally the principle of what I wanted to do. And then I was like, well, it's not going to be the code isn't very reusable here. It's not going to be able to make a game. So I started the second session, and here I've got like a tile editor. I can click and place down tiles, basically. And the second session was about figuring out like how to do all of this. And so basically what it is that you need the characters, the agents, these guys moving around need to have a map to navigate. So that's where I'm up to at the moment here. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start trying to use the map that I've generated, which has some bugs, and start getting these characters in, and then I can use the map that I generate to be a like a navigatable sort of areas, and that we can avoid collisions. And then I'm also going to start designing the kind of flow, right, of how this is going to work. So I've got a pen that I can draw on the screen with now. But the problem with that is I can't draw directly on top of. No. Or can I? Yes, I can. So if these grid squares, like obviously this is a wall. Oh no, this is so hard. Harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm not very good at that. But basically, the grid squares are going to have like a flow map, which is going to tell the characters, like, you know, you're going to have to move away from the wall. If we had like, let's say this is wall as well, and this is the way to go. I think I can change colors. Then you would have like a flow map, which is going to like, you know, basically be pointing them into these regions, right? It's like a fluid simulation. So these are going to be like a vector flow field, which, you could come in here, but then you want to stay away from the walls. And then depending on how many like kind of different agents there are within a cell, that'll have like a pressure or a density that we can use. And the pressure or the density can then be used to kind of do avoidance within the cells. So can we get rid of that? Okay, cool. That was the first time trying the drawing on screen. I mean, my handwriting was a bit wibbly, and I don't think the resolution of my tablet is very good, but I thought it might be handy to have something like that. I think on stream this is going to look quite hard to like notice, maybe. So I need to sort out some things in here in terms of the editor. I'm clicking on there in a moment. So I set up this editor camera. It's too sensitive. I keep accidentally placing tiles down when I'm trying to navigate. There's also this Z fighting issue. So the Z fighting is where the lines are coplanar with the grid. So there's a bunch of stuff I need to sort out. But the objective today is basically be able to draw some walls and basically have the agents start to like navigate their way through the grid map. I should be able to delete by right clicking, which isn't working. There was some code for that. I need to go. Oh my god. Right, tons of horrible things that are pissing me off already. Like it doesn't feel nice, right? And it doesn't look nice. The Z fighting, that's an issue. So I need to sort that out. I've had a cold, so I don't feel very well. Not very clear-headed. But we're going to go into Rat Race 2. This is the code that I did last time, where we were setting up tile map and all that kind of thing. I'm going to move that down and make that a bit bigger because these things are a little bit pointless. But I can keep clicking and placing tiles when I'm doing stuff. Like I'm trying to, navigate here. Look. And I set this up before with a different camera, but it's just, I don't know, should we go into edit mode? We need some more modes in the editor to make it a bit nicer to deal with. And I'd started working on that before. Basically, that one. I started working on that before to add some UI elements, so that then we can use the UI to kind of set up editor state. So probably we wouldn't always be in editor mode, we'd be in camera mode or whatever. But it wasn't working, or it wasn't correctly hooked up. So one thing we've got here is the right mouse button should be setting the tile to empty. Tile type, but this mustn't be getting called. So I'm going to do some debugging first, and then I can figure out what Claude can do to help me. Remove tile. That's not even print ln. So where's my console output? So I don't think it is ever hitting that. Fucking annoying. Okay, so it's printing out add tile, but right mouse button remove is never, remove tile is never getting hit. Which is kind of annoying. So OS buttons, get mouse buttons. It must somehow be intercepting the mouse events. We mustn't be getting the mouse button event. Which is another pet, like, this is just annoying. Not a very good start. Right, so now, basically, instead of doing a right button, I'm gonna check if, if control is pressed, then I'll remove it, and then if basically at the moment I just need a way to be able to remove a tile if I place one by accident, because there's too many bugs that are actually placing it by accident at the moment. So let's just do it based on the, and I should mention the code is here in Rust, and then the editor is running, and the code is hot reloaded inside a DLL, so we can keep the app running. Okay, cool, look, so I can add one and I can remove one now. That at least gives me a bit of control. And if we're on the editor camera, I have to hold Alt. Oh, mate, why has it done that? Annoying. So in editor camera, I have to hold Alt to rotate the camera. And if I'm holding Alt, it won't press, place a tile. But that still feels a bit buggy. So in terms of the grid drawing, we have a Y pos, yeah, 0.2. I mean, I'm just going to put this at like much higher. Was it 0. Was that less? I'm just going to put this at much higher, 0.5 maybe. Just trying to fix the Z fighting. Still there. So that's those ones. The highlight one actually, draw place tile. Okay. The Y. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to make just a Y offset. And we just said it was 1. It doesn't matter. I just want some, I just want some consistent, something that doesn't look terrible. Right, okay, so now I can see that a bit more clearly. It's not Z fighting, and we can place down tiles, right? I think that this light blue is not good, is not a good color, wall color. So wall color, I'm just going to make it brighter. It's going to be like, we're just going to make it white. It's just going to be white. Okay, so now that feels better already. And then I can remove them. Right. So the idea would be, we could have some things like this, bottlenecks, where the AI people are going to go and flow through, through these kind of bottlenecks to go to their destinations. And that's where we would end up with having the flow map, which I did a terrible job of describing earlier. But let's see if I can do a better job of it now. Okay. Let's bring this a bit more close over here. So yeah, basically what you would have is, the flow map. We need to generate a flow map. And these would be like arrows that are going to be pointing away from the walls and towards the directions that people need to go. And now if you have different destinations, you might have multiple flow maps. So on the tile by tile basis, I need to have essentially store those vector fields, and then you might have something like, why is this not now? So in this scenario, everything's going to flow through this way, but some people might want to go that way, and some people might want to go this way. I actually think that probably enough for the time being. I've got enough on the editor side. But yeah, basically, you'd have like a high level kind of flow where, you're going to have some people want to go this way. And then you're going to have some people are going to want to go this way. And then you're going to have like each individual, square, like for the green one. Obviously, your kind of directions are going to be pointing this way, this way, this way. If you're here, this way, if you're here. For yellow, you're going to be kind of the same, but then this is where you're going to start getting a bit different, where these are going to be your directions for yellow, and these are going to be the directions for green. And if all of this information is stored on a per grid tile basis, then we can essentially look that up for the individual agents in the scene, and they can use this as their pathfinding. But then we also use it for pressure and kind of displacement to kind of avoid collisions, and then there'll be a density aspect to it where the characters will, if this area gets too big, too dense, and there's too many people, then effectively they will be crushed or they will have to spill out. So the representation of the tile grid is already kind of set up to support that. It's been stored in Morton order, so they're cache friendly. So the neighboring cells are stored in memory next to each other instead of storing long runs of things. And then we store a dense array of map chunks, which is buried now. Here's a map chunk. So I have a map chunk and tile types. And a map chunk is just a tile, so this is just, at the moment, the type of the tile. But for a map chunk, we would also have a grid or an array. This is a structure of arrays. So we would have an array of flow, which is going to be a vector 2. But the thing is this is technically, it's going to be 3D, because you have 3D position. But it's kind of like 2D as well at the same time. So this is flow could be a vec2f chunk size, array size. So I'm not using Claude at all at the moment yet. So we could have, for example, a flow, which is going to be one of those arrows, but we might have multiple flow depending on where you want to go. But I'm just going to go with one at the moment. Then we're going to have a density, which is the this is just a float, and that's going to be the number of people. I'm going to just put some comments in here. So this is how Claude is going to know kind of what these are, number agents per grid square. With some sort of metric. I did have some notes on this. So as I was thinking about it over the week. So let me just have a quick look. And so the agents need to be able to figure out which grid square they're in. The density is number per thing, and then the density will affect the flow, because basically if a square becomes dense, you naturally want to flow away from the density to alleviate the pressure, essentially. But we also have pressure, which is some metric based on density, which effectively controls the flow. 2D direction agents should flow. I think there's like this pressure flow, and then there's kind of desired flow. Pressure, like a curve based on density, which controls flow, and then flow is diffused from the other grid squares. So if you're next to, if you're a cell with pressure, you want to flow away from that to areas of low pressure, to flow downhill away. That is called away from pressure. I'm hoping Claude will be able to understand this sort of enum of type. Currently, we're just thinking about walls and not walls. Okay, so we have flow, density, pressure for each tile, and then we need to get the agents in here and get them to kind of walk about or move about. Oh, for God's sake. This one. We'll initialize it to 0. Okay. So I've got map chunk, and I'm going to try and get some characters moving in this environment. Float literals. I need a way to save out the map chunks, actually, the layout, because now I've lost my map, or I could hard code it. Yeah, so let's see. Let's get Claude to do some work. The problem is once I open Claude, it takes up a lot of this space. So I'm going to moving this onto another screen. And I'll so I can keep the code full screen here, the game running here, and I'm going to ask Claude to. So we need a. Oh, I haven't even set him up yet. So we're working in Rat Race 2, I'm going to say, which is the second attempt at this. 2. I've started to design a kind of like what's the right word for this? A traffic system for the for human agents that will be part of the game. It's kind of like a fluid sim with flow, density, and pressure. We already have walls and in the tile map. So I was thinking we need to add some agents to the scene that can navigate the grid system. I'll get Claude to go away and do the agent part of the AI agents within the game, and I'll carry on thinking about the map. I would like an agent type that we draw with debug lines, or maybe a debug circle. So yeah, let's get. I'll ask Claude in plan mode to do this. I'm basically saying. I'd like them basically to follow the flow of the grid. They should follow the flow of the tile map. Agents need to figure out their tile map position from their from their 3D position. I don't think that was a very good explanation, to be honest, but yeah, basically, that's 0, 0, so your thoughts? Doesn't matter. So yeah, basically, if we spawn some agents, we should be able to get them to sort of flow through this map. That's the point. I need a way to assign a flow to I need a way to assign flow direction. Pressure and density can come later. Flow has multiple meanings. Because, like, if you have a goal, I'm gonna have to have another chat. So, this is a Claude sonnet. I'll ask so I can get some ideas. So based on like a fluid sim, I want to have a flow field for goal finding. So yeah, I said you start at the destination and then you diffuse backwards. So I think what I need as well, I need to be able to add some different kinds of tiles, because I need to add like, this would be, say, a destination, a single destination. And then to work out the flow for that, we would go backwards. And obviously this grid square, the direction to the goal is that way. But then you would then diffuse it through the grid over a number of steps. So if this was the destination, what do we have? What else do we have? Different colors, red. So the destination, obviously you've got like a red arrow, but then that red arrow could point to there, and then it's going to get you there, or it could point to here. But yeah, so you're going to end up basically one square away. All of these are going to say cool, 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 cool. But this, you would slowly do it, and you would point then to one that you know points to the destination. It's only when you get to like this one, you can't go here, so then that would have to go, you know, kind of sideways. So we need to have this sort of pathfinding built in to the map. So derive flow vectors. It's got a formula called Dijkstra based flood fill. So Claude gave me that nicely on Sonnet. Let's see what other Claude is saying. Plan. Okay, so human agent has a pause. Thing is that I think we could reuse some other components, but that's probably fine. We get flow. So Claude's gonna say, let's add the human agents the way that it's suggested to do the the placing isn't going to work, but we need to do some work on the editor anyway. And then I've lost my map. So here's some things that I need to do. See, the thing that's annoying now is if we're working on the same file, I don't think that Claude is... I don't know if it's going to get confused if I start modifying the same file at the same time. I'm going to just add a new file into... where were we? Plugins. We got a rat race MD. I'm going to add a new one. It's just going to be a plain old text file. These are to-do things that we need to do. No, why has it done that? To do and... Well, for now we haven't done anything, but I keep a track of everything that I've done if I have a to-do list. Move it into done. And sometimes it's good to see how much stuff you've done. So, firstly to do, we need to save a tile map. Or serialize. Because it's getting tedious having to draw it again, and it'd be good to have some example one, right? I need to have some sort of basic initial flow. I need a way to hook in custom UI for the editor, because now we need to be able to place different things, place agents and place destination goals, destinations. We need to do pathfinding. Which was based on that that person's name I couldn't say. Dijkstra based flood fill. So, right, let's see what Claude did to the code. That's the wrong one. Rat race. So he added human agent. And then we can place an agent, apparently. So there, and then human agent, it's trying to do it if we press the right mouse button, but that the right mouse button doesn't work. I don't know why. Why the right mouse button doesn't work. Ah, That's wrong. So that's placing an agent then. Look, this middle mouse is the wrong button. So we can place an agent, but they're not moving because there is no flow. Okay, there is no flow. So what I'm going to do is just initialize we can draw the flow for every tile. Tile's not empty. The problem is I'm trying to think ahead that this is going to be 3D, which is actually making it quite... Oh yeah, so we're only doing the X and Z chunks anyway. So we'll stick in problem is like if you stick in 2D, then at some point you're gonna have to refactor it if you want to do it 3D, which is a bit of a pain. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do, I'll draw the flow. So if it's not empty, if it is empty, we need to have a flow direction, right? And then we draw the line. So we need these because I want to draw them in the middle. So min. So we need to get the mid X and mid Z. For God's sake. Max X. Fuck off. Max X minus min X. All of this should have been in vectors. Like, this is the thing, the Claude code, it generates so much code so quickly. And you're like, yep, cool. But it's not that good, you know? Like, this isn't very reusable. And now I'm going down the same... Fuck off. Same kind of stupid pattern. Okay, and then we do the same again. So basically I'm going to draw the little arrows of the direction. Flow start. Yeah, we're using that. We need to grab flow. Draw that in green. Right, so we need a way to fetch and initialize. So I need to fetch the, get the flow tx from the grid. So yeah, map flow. Get flow. We got tx 0 tz. This is flow, dear mate. Like, I don't want this. You know, the amount of shit fucking everywhere. Fuck off. Okay, so we can add a line that goes into the flow deer direction, and we're fetching it from the map, right? But at the moment, it's going to be 0. And we might be failing to compile. So make the flow into a vec3. Oh yeah, flow did a y. I'm just going to move that out so it's a bit smaller. Right, so now if I initialize the flow to non-zero, I'm not sure which axis this is. I could do with some, let's just guess, let's just say we'll go in X. Okay, so let's flow vec2f. Right, and then, ooh. It's drawing one arrow. It's not drawing all of them. And also I was looking, I wanted it in the Z axis. So any of the empty ones should have a flow in, just as default. I just wanted to see if I could get it working. Well, I mean, look, they are flowing. That one isn't. That one is. Okay, well. Something's wrong with the flow start is wrong. Mid. This is annoying me. I mean, I'm not really using Claude at all at the moment. The thing is that I'm not that happy with the code that it generates completely. Like, I want to know exactly what it is I want it to do. And that just crashed, so that was that. That should have fixed it now. Not min. Min Z. Here we go. That looks still wrong though. Or maybe it's not. Yeah, okay. Okay, so with the grid, the underlying grid that I'm drawing doesn't really reflect the kind of chunking system. And the camera system is annoying me again. I need to get this to remember somehow. Like, how's it adding them there? Oh. Let's start again. Oh, for God's sake, man. It needs to default to editor camera. If I'm clicking down here, it's still clicking. It's not respecting the flags on the app, which say at this point ImGUI is getting the input. So, for God's sake, this feels like absolute crap. You know, and something's just like, this just feels like shit. Like the whole thing. Editor. This is going to save this camera. Right, it saves it on editor now. Okay, that's at least one thing. So, anyway, I initialized the flow field, and then obviously we're dropping in an agent, and they follow the flow. He has hit a collision, which is reasonable. Well, they've hit the end. Right, but they're moving the wrong way through, and I need to be able to place a goal, and then I need to generate the flow. I think the thing is there's no debounce, so look at that. But anyway, there are loads of them there, and in general, I would like to place thousands of these guys. And at the moment, there's a lot of them there, and the performance is decent. I mean, it's only drawing them smallly, but That's fine. Okay. It's pretty shit, but this is kind of starting to do what it needs to do. These guys somehow... Oh, these were stuck outside. That's why. And this wouldn't happen because in the final thing, the flow will make them avoid the collisions. Right. So, what was on the to-do list again? This is kind of alright, but also... I need to be checking this code, so there's quite a bit of math involved here. Per agent, they've got to do a bit of a lookup. What do? They get their flow, update agents. Right, so we have an agent position. It gets the position and it divides it by tile size. And then we can get the tile based on the Morton Z order. I mean, at the moment it seemed fast. I would like to be able to handle tens or hundreds of thousands. So there is some sort of consideration of performance for the agents. And also, doing collisions with each other and things like that. So serializing the tile map. Yes. Let's get Claude to do that. I think that's quite a good thing. So I'm going to ask Claude. Let's get this on here so you can see. Can you write... Let's do plan mode. Can you write a serializer? Deserializer. For the map chunk and the map. For the map, map tiles, we only want to serialize the tile type, since the rest of the data will be generated dynamically. So basically, if we can get Claude to serialize the tile map out, then I can stop drawing this same little map, and then I can at least have one, so that's underway, let's say. Okay, so this one's gone into Claude edit mode. Basic initial flow. We actually did do that. So, why does it do that? Right, a way to custom hooking UI. So we can place agents. We can actually place agents. But it's a bit debug, but it is working. We need to place destinations, but I need a way to edit the UI or add UI elements. Ignore input events beneath in GUI. have the app. So app get mouse pos. This is if app. So the app has these input enabled things, which returns two balls. Let enable keyboard. And then so we only do any tile map editing while we enable the mouse. Yep. But we still want to draw the editor. So let's run that. So I think before that would be adding stuff. Look. And we should only be drawing the highlight one if mouse is enabled. Draw place tiles. Okay. Well, yeah, this whole thing, if enable mouse, so we can, that's the actual editor itself. No. Come on. No. It's not loading. Come on, come on. Right, here we go. Look, now it doesn't highlight it until my mouse is actually active. Cool, so that's one thing. Let's say, it's crashed it again. I'm just gonna add this and commit it, because I think it's a reasonably good state, and then sometimes it's good to have a git point to come back to, because Claude can mess things up sometimes, or a lot of the time, and get itself in a bit of a twist. Right, so let's see what Claude's saying now. So that was handy. This has been decent in terms of Claude going away and doing something. I was able to fix a bug or one of the issues on the to-do list. Ignore input events beneath ImGUI. So that was good. This was Claude work in progress. So let's see what it's saying about so time up editor needs persistence, player builds, station layouts, and survive restart. So we can use serde and serde JSON. I'm not keen about using JSON for the serialization format, but because basically it's a grid, and it's going to save out an enum, and they're going to be much bigger. I don't think that's a very good. I just don't think that this is a very good format. Save the self, load from path. Like, and then look, it goes. It's map save path. It's just like it's always like loads of hard coded stuff. I just don't think that JSON is the right format in the first place. Do you think? Because what he's got is these kind of, for each tile type, you're doing from and to, when this could just be the value, right? We could just say that these are a U8, right? Good point. The data is simple enough for a hand-rolled binary format. I mean, that was pretty terrible. A pretty poor attempt. So let's let Claude carry on thinking about its mistakes on the naughty corner. And then we'll carry on. Because, like, basically, I just want to serialize a U8 grid. You know, it's like like a texture or something. So then, yeah, what we need is a way to plug in UI into here, which sounds easy, but it's actually a bit of a ball ache. Okay, Claude's come back with its new proposal. Binary format. It still has a conversion. Can these not be? I want to check when it does these 2U8. So it still has a tile type, an enum to U8 helper, right? This should already just be a U8 in memory, if it can be. I'm just trying to think, where does it... Does it even use it anymore? I don't think it even uses that. I mean, map save path hard coded is fine for the time being, but I'm not so keen or sure. Tile type from U8. No. So I don't like this doing, look, we load the chunks for each chunk, and then we iterate for the array size, loading an element of the data and turning it into an enum of tile type. We should just be able to load that whole thing in memory. Like, I would like the... This is terrible suggestions, right? Maybe you could say, oh, my prompting isn't good enough, or all of this, but this is just generally terrible advice. And this is the problem with it. Like, yesterday I was working on macOS, porting Metal, this engine, to macOS, and I spent all of Friday fiddling around with some stuff that Claude's generating me a load of code that it works, but like, you look at it now and you're like, actually, it's done it. It's not really done the thing it needs to do. It's achieved the end goal, but it doesn't work for like all these other cases. And I think sometimes there's just, I don't know, it's deceptive. You're like, oh yeah, here's a load of code and it does the thing, but I just dump the entire tile array, write it once, read it, write it out once, read it back in. This seems overcomplicated. Okay, so while Claude is again, this is the third time to get it to do it. Okay, so now I want to hook in some UI calls. Last time we did make an imGUI resource that I can use in here, but this crashes because this isn't called inside an imGUI begin and end frame. So little screen real estate. I'm just going to check the 40 scores. Let's see how Tottenham are getting on. Losing 1-0. 7 minutes in. Oh my god. Tottenham are going to get relegated. So, okay, so in ECS.source, it has a UI callback. Okay. But this is different than the update. But I think we're going to have to make it do that. I might have to change the architecture of the engine. So what it is that we have the update function for this systems get called. These are running inside here. Like, where are they? Inside this schedule. These are all the kind of the things that are running. So there's like the graphics one actually. Oh yeah, no, we update the tile editor, we update agents, right? And they get called from in here. And then the UI call gets called later. We get a UI call where we draw all this UI. The problem is that I think when we're calling update, we're not actually inside a UI. And that means we can't use imgui when we're inside update. So what I need to do is check now. Libdrs. Client.rs, right. So we call update on plugins, and we can call setup update, but they have a UI as well. Oh no, we do call it inside. New frame, core UI, show UI, update plugins, and present. Huh. So maybe we can call imgui from inside a an update function. Right. Well. So update. So give myself an imgui update tile editor UI. This one should be the top. This one goes at the top, just because it registers all the functions. Update tile editor UI, and then we had some stuff. And let's see what it says. I'm just going to display some text to see if I can. This failed to compile. It needs a result. Right, crashed it. Keeps coming back to here. Right, race 2. Right, it's crashed now. With no annoying. For God's sake. Okay, what was that? So this one. So yeah, it's not inside an imgui new frame. This is why. So then, let's have a look down the call stack. Look, core UI, show UI. And then update plugins, update setup, reload, core plugin UI functions. I feel like it should be fine. I mean, it's just annoying how like little screen real estate that I have. Trying to stream this, it's actually annoying me. Right, Claude's come back. Claude has come back. And what's it saying? It's going to shut these blind. Fuck off. Right, well, Claude is saying about serialization. Tile bytes. Yep. Enum repara U8. Yes. That's it, mate. Okay, so finally, Claude did do a simple serializer. And this is what bothers me about the people, the AI, full-on AI nonces, right? Who don't know how to code, and they're like, it can do everything. So you're just going to serialize, your texture formats into JSON, are you? Because that's the first thing it suggests. Because how would you know what to do, If you didn't know the right thing to do, then you're just going to allow it to make terrible decisions for you. And then you're going to go, it works. But when does it show up as it being, when do you notice that it doesn't work? It's when the performance is terrible. It's when, you can't ship something. And then at that point, it's so far down the line. So these people who've made 7 SaaS apps in a day, like, you're making garbage things, right? You're making absolute garbage apps. That doesn't matter if it's shit. And when you get down to any, like, complicated stuff, I think, you know, I can see it struggling. Like, it's definitely good at some stuff, but it's just, it annoys me. Like, it's been annoying me recently. Let's see. But like the UI thing, ImGUI new frame. This is not called in between. A new frame. Right, Claude said it's done though, so let's ignore that. Fuck off. Alright, let's see how it's done. So we should have map save path. This one thing annoys me about it. It always hard codes so much stuff. Like, hard coding's fine, but like, these should be data driven. These should be, you know, serialized. This thing, maybe there's probably a better way to do it, but do we even use these? Ah, for the UI, it made them last time, which that's fine. Right, let's go. Cannot find. The system cannot find the file specified. I was actually going to do a thing about this. So while I'm here. The system cannot find the file specified. Well, tell me the fucking file then. Do you know what I mean? The amount. Path. Unwrap. String from. I don't know. Data path exists. Ah, okay. I don't even know. Anyway. Well, this is another thing. So this is Claude. It's generated me this, right? To start with. Map load. Get data path. Which actually unwraps, and this thing should really return the result. Like the code that is generated for me, for each chunk we read an entire array of tile map. That's what I wanted it to do, and that's what it's done for me. So eventually we got there. It took it a long time, and it hasn't generated that much code, you know. It's just these two little functions. Let's have a look at what we're doing on usage. I haven't used Claude that much this session. Actually, quite sparingly. 17% tokens. So that's pretty good. Okay, fine. So my stupid function. So that'll get me a data path, but it won't. This is going to mess up. We don't want this. I don't want this. It's, you know, I'm just gonna, it's just there. It's not gonna use any of these stupid this little thing. This is, it shouldn't be using that. It's the data pass for other stuff, and it's not a very good API anyway. I need to sort that out, but let's build the workspace to build the plugins. Right, let's see if this works now. Come on. Right, it didn't crash, and we should be able to save it. Right, how do we save? Does it save it somehow, or does it automatically? Control and S and Control and L. Okay, that must mean there must be a ratrace.bin that has spawned somewhere in the file system. It's going to go into target. No. Here it is. It's just in the root. That's fine for now. But that means if we reset, it's still there. Okay, so that did work, and that is helpful. So thank you, Claude. We got there in the end, even though the suggestion of serializing it in JSON was stupid. Just plain stupid. Okay, so that gets us another one off the to-do list then. Oh God, moving through the to-do list much quicker than I can actually... Boom. Thank you, and I'll give that a big C for Claude. He did serialize the tile map. Okay. So we need the way to hook in custom UI. Let's see if Claude can figure this out for me. So, it might be able to spot the flow of how it gets called. Okay, so this one is update tile editor UI, hits assert, because we are calling GUI calls outside of new frame. Hang on a minute, I think I might know what it is myself actually. Client. So we have core UI, which is all of this stuff. File open. Oh no, begin. So this is for these things, right? So we have core UI, and then we have that. Then we call update plugins. It's because it's on another thread. the ImGUI context needs setting. So we are in the right place, but we need to set the ImGUI context, which if we pass it, we have to just set ImGUI current context, which actually is a quick fix. I should probably get Claude doing some more work while I fix that. Let's have a look at the to-do list. Let's have a look at the to-do list. Where did it go? Well, here we're slowly getting there. Let's go back to the other one, the old version that Claude did all on its own. That has some more stuff different. Just leave that in the background while I'm thinking. Rat race to do. Okay, so that's on its way. Pathfinding, flood fill. Yes, so I think we do need a bit more of that stuff first. Maybe I'll. Because I could get Claude to generate the code for that. Different UI elements. So maybe like a toolbar. We would have a toolbar up here, and you could click, obviously, like a wall or platform. It could get it to choose some different. Oh no, it could do a drop down menu. I think Claude already started doing that. Let's ask Claude to do it. So I'm quite happy that we can save that out. My brain's gone. Let's see. Okay. What was that function name actually? I'd like the I'd like the options to go into a toolbar. In the main doc. I want a way to change the tile we are placing. That could be drop down menu, yeah. Switch between placing mode versus versus what? I think that's all we need so far, right? Was that what we needed? Oh yeah, we can place an agent. Let's include so I'll get Claude to implement the UI code that's going to be now the new editor, and I'll just fix the bug, which is that in lib.rs. Why has that done that? Oh, for God's sake. Now cool, that's quite good. We also need a way to clear the existing map, because this one, I kind of, I wanted to do it as a test, but it's probably not going to be the final one, but I'll just add that on the to-do list. Fuck's sake. Too many files here now. I can't navigate it correctly. A way to clear the map. But that can be added onto the new UI, which is quite good. Place goals and destinations, but that's just going to be, well, that'll just be different tiles. I suppose the way you would think of this is like in the train station, you would place that should be editor. But that could be a platform. And this could be another platform. You have two. And they would be two separate destinations. So we need to be able to differentiate them, the two. And group them together. But let me get this UI fixed. Lib. Update. So the UI function, plugin UI. So Claude's code is edited now and crashed the editor. There's an ongoing bug that it's been a bit of a pain for me to fix, to do with certain edits that can cause a crash. It annoys me that it keeps going back to here. Oh, it's because the ImGUI code, right, is going to be crashing it. But annoyingly, that if the debugger's attached, I have no info as to why or what's happened, which is quite annoying. So if we call client.imgui.begin, so if we look up the call stack, okay, when we call the plugin UI, we call this set current context, and we have an ImGUI context that we pass into the UI function, but we don't do the same kind of thing in the update function. The other thing is that we get called in again to another plugin. So inside the... Why did it do that? Some like latency. Horrible. So the UI in here, we pass imgui. Surely it keeps its own context. So we can set the current context, okay, but then we just like, I just want a global context. I don't even know why we bother doing this. If we could just keep a copy of the imgui context. So what I'm going to do is just something totally main context. Imgui main context when we create one. I'm going to just keep a pointer to basically the main context. Because I can't be bothered passing this around, we can keep a pointer to it, right? That's unsafe. We're already in unsafe code, are we? And then in set current context, and we just say set main context. So this is the reason having to do this is that the plugins and the game is running in a DLL, and when you're in a go over a DLL boundary, you have to activate the imgui context because it's only the current context is set in the kind of the address space or the DLL space or whatever of the thing that was invoking it, and going across a DLL boundary, you don't have a bound context anymore. So you have to set current context, but we already have the imgui Rust imgui context. So then basically the U64 can be an address. Imgui context. I don't think it's going to allow me to. What is causing this stalling? It's so annoying. Access is denied because it's there. Let's close that. Right, so set main context. No, let's just call this global context. That's global context. Fuck. Required when calling. Set global context, right, and that's that. And then all the way through in my lib now, I don't have to do anything here. In rat race 2, when we call imgui, we just need to always do this. Imgui set global context. So this might just work, and then begin main menu bar. Oh look, wall, barrier, agent, train track, right? Perfect. So wall colors should be different. Okay. Okay. But it should have been saving, the editor should have been saving. Editor camera. Okay. So now, let's see if we place a platform, does it come out of a different color? No. So we need different colors for different let's commit this because I think I'm fairly happy with it. It's not great, but sort of progress has been made. Editor UI stuff, UI editor. What else do we have? Tile map serialization. Flow map, kind of basic, but progress nonetheless. long's this been going for now? Right, well, let's see where we're at. I'm feeling a bit tired, but I don't know, maybe I can keep pushing. Annoying that it keeps... Let's put it on here. Rat race. It hasn't remembered this! That. Could not find main camera. Now it's crashing. Fuck off. Now I've got myself stuck. That isn't even it. Oh. So if I start on Rat Race... Oh. Is it something to do with... the fact that it's on editor camera? Ah, I know what it is. So this is a bug to do with, let's see if this works. The editor camera mode, nope. If I start it in a different sample, then it wasn't crashing. Then we change back. That's annoying. But I can't be bothered, you know, this is the thing that's annoying, like, you're like, well, I could figure out this bug, but this is nothing to do with the game, and, you know, it's just annoying. Right, here we go. Okay, fine. Let's try and do a little bit more. A little bit more work, I think, before calling it a day. It has been 2 hours, actually. So what do we have? A map. We have, agents. Right, Claude. We can tell Claude to sort that out. It needs to debounce the buttons when placing stuff. When placing stuff. the tile map, the debounces. We don't need debounce. Since dragging kind of works. Oh, I forgot to put it on plan mode. Now it's on edit automatically. But anyway, we've got agents, platforms. So what we want to do is color them differently. The different things, color them differently. Sorry about my cold. I've barely used any tokens on this session. I suppose I've been doing a lot more stuff myself. I think I'm trying to find the right balance. Just asking Claude to go ahead and do stuff. And I don't think it really works that well. Not if you want good code that you can keep on working on. It can slop out a bunch of stuff for you, but I think moving slowly and being able to like allocate jobs for it to do seems to be, I think, working better in terms of making this a bit more of a long-term project. But basically the first session it used loads of tokens and it was in a token mess, you know, trying to deal with its own crap. Then now it's kind of, I've probably not used enough. I need to find that sweet spot of like productivity where I'm driving it the way that I want to, and I can get Claude to kind of be busy in the background doing everything we need. So oh yeah, so now this different tile map types. We need a color. Wool col. Well, we'll have one wool col based on the names. Tile col. I would actually prefer these to be like this. What does this mean? Is made at literally the exact place names. And then we've got tile names, which is the same thing. Ah, no. It's slightly different. Okay, so, well, anyway, we said walls are white. Vec4f white. They can be an array of values. Okay. Barriers, I'll make them red. Escalators, make them blue. Platforms, I'm going to make them yellow. Train track, and make that green. Probably a bit garish, but that's just going to be enough. Oh, for God's sake. So they can't be const. I think they could be const if they needed to be. This is Rust, and it annoys me. Cannot call non-const associated. Well, I'm not going to be able to change that now. These, in theory, should be. But can I construct them then? One. I can't call new. I can't construct. That's annoying. Well, let's put these here. Tile calls. Rust is a ball ache sometimes. Here we go, right. So we've got different tile colors for the different types of walls or whatever. That's wall call. Tile type. So I look up the tile color based on the tile type. I replace all of that with just call and wall call hard coded color goes away. This isn't going to compile because that is not a U size. Right, so now it can. Right, okay. Oh, hang on. They're red. I wanted them to be white. So now, what else? Let's see. We'll place different things. Barriers. Barriers are blue. Platforms. Platforms is green. Train track is crashed. So I have to go back to it now. Did Claude fix me? Let's see. Claude was working on stuff. So now it's added a debounce for placing the agents. Well, let's see. Yeah, okay, so now it only places one. I'm holding down the mouse and it only places one, so I have to keep clicking. Right, so here are people. These will be people flowing through the map of the train station. Not very good, but it is code that is working and will be able to be adapted to do what I need. Right, so I'll see if I can keep going then, and see if I can kind of make some more progress. So the color, there's something wrong with the color of the tile type. Where do we go? Tile name. place names. Where's tile types? Tile types. Wall is 1. It's because empty is 0. So this stupid... I don't like this Claude's done. These should be narrower. Like, so you can read them. I don't think having long rows is very beneficial. But why is it made these? To set a tile. It's like a weird indirection. See, I don't like this already, what it's generated me here. And by the time you've accepted it, it's too late. You're like, oh yeah, that seems fine. But we've got this weird indirection now where we have multiple arrays. We've got tile names, we've got place names, we've got tile types, and then we have the enum of tile types. This is not like really clear code that we want to have for a long-term sort of maintainable code base, really. And then it's sort of mixed up. So we've got enum of place mode, and then loads of constants. So like, I feel like it always gives me a bit of a mess to kind of clean up, or stuff I need to then reconcile later. It's like a sunken cost fallacy. Like now I'm like, oh, I'll carry on with it. When in the first place, probably should have just written it myself and then it would have been better. You know, I don't know if it saved me time. It's just given me more stuff to think about that I don't know about yet, that I still haven't even come across. Like all of its arithmetic here, it's like scalar arithmetic. There's a maths library, and then it's partially using vec3. So update agents isn't great. I'm really like not impressed with the code it's generated today, I think. But we'll carry on. So I'm very distracted. So like now, basically, yeah, white. So this one, it needs another one because of the tile index. And then then they're going to be the right way. And what I wanted to try and do on my to-do list is pathfinding based on the Dijkstra-based flood fill. So, for example, if this is a goal, the yellow, and then we have agents that are going to be starting here, they should flow in this direction towards the goal, and the green arrows are the flow direction. Obviously they're flowing the wrong direction there. We can kind of resolve it a little bit. Let's just save the map. Nah, I lost my changes. Right. So yeah, basically I'm going to say the yellow is a train platform, white are walls, and the agents, the people in the game, these guys, they're going to have to go this direction. But we need to update these green arrows, the flow field, so that they go in the right direction. And that is, hopefully, something which is going to be a little... something we can get, see if we can get Claude to do it for us. Okay, I've saved it out now, this map. By default, I'll change the flow field. The default flow is, I think that's X. Is it plus Z? So in the Z axis, I want to, it's really not nice navigating code that's kind of been a lot of, like, AI generated a lot, because it's sort of like a mixture of code I've done and Claude's done, but it's quite, I don't know, alienating to navigate the code base. I've changed the flow, so the default one will flow in the Z axis. They're currently green. Let's change the color. When I render the flow direction, it's changed the direction of them now, but let's change the color of the flow to be the color of the direction. So flow color, and it's going to be just R and G from, we need a vec4, but we can construct that from the flow dir X and flow dir Y. We'll have no Z and one alpha. Okay, and then that should be, these should become blue, or they might become negative. Reload complete. Oh, I'm not using the flow call. But also, this should be times by 0.5 and add 0.5. Which allows negative number 2. So these should change to, like, Z would be, what kind of colours are they? Like bluey, kind of purpley colours. No, I've messed it up. The alpha must be wrong. Hold on. Let's just change it to not be that, just to do. Right, okay. So now they're black, right? I still wanted. I can actually construct like this. Can I? No. These can be struck from tuple. Like this. Oh, for God's sake. I can't even remember how to use my own vector library. Yes, that does work. But now it's still... Are they like grey? Oh yeah, they are. You can see them. They're just really light coloured. There's kind of like this very light greeny colour. So it did work the first time, but essentially that is the flow direction. In the Z direction, it's like a yellowy, sort of yellowy colour. If we change it to, oh, for God's sake, where is that code again? The vector flow. There it is, flow, right. We can do it in -1, flow. It takes a while to build. Sorry about the link time. Reload's complete. It's not changed direction. So I can't tell if it's actually working. Flow deer X, Y. Okay. I mean, it's easier to see it when they're like that, black. Okay, well, now if I place the agents, they're gonna, they are flowing kind of towards the goal. Right, some of them will go through, but the idea is we need to get like, I was doing this before, but people weren't, different people have come and gone on the stream, so, in terms of, what you would need is flow vectors that point them like this, away from the wall so that they eventually go there. And that's what I'm going to try and build now. Oh, that was zooming. So flow field is what I want to generate, and I want to try and go towards yellow squares. Problem is that the code Claude has generated thus far is pretty annoyingly bad. And for all the UI, or for all of the tile map editing, I'm going to have to go through it all and kind of comb over it myself. So giving it another task. But anyway, let's see if we can do it. So the way that it should work is we start with a goal destination, and then based on a nearby neighbor, we know the goal is here. So we would update these squares, and then you would kind of do it in a diffusion way, where over multiple iteration steps, we would look at our neighbors, and then we would use information from our neighbors to know the direction to travel. So if we're here, we know we can't go this direction. We have to go around. So what was that? It was called. But we have these things. So these are things that I've done so far today. So serializing the tile map editor, basic initial flow, which is the direction the agents were going, ability to place agents, done some bits of UI improvements, ignoring ImGUI, got ImGUI UI inside the editor, inside this plugin system. We have a way to place destinations and goals. So I'm quickly running out of tasks to do. A way to clear the map. That's this. That's not that important. Let's see if we can get Claude to do some good code. So pathfinding, and I can't even say this, Jigstra based flood fill. Let's go. So in the tile map, so we want to build a flow based on a goal destination using pathfinding Jigstra based flood fill. Currently, the goal is a platform tile. That's the yellow ones. No, stop. Should have put it into plan mode. So yeah, let's see if we can do the Jigstra algorithm. Yep, so a way to clear the map. While Claude is doing the algorithm, I'll add a way to clear the map. We just do map new, surely. I can add a button in the editor. Editor state. But we don't. Do we have the map? So we take the map. What is all this errors around here? These need to be pub. All of these types. Just because they get called from a plugin, so I need to make sure the pub create human agent pubs editor state map. Okay. Reload complete. Has it fixed all my warnings? Quite a lot of them. That's much better. So we got a map, and then inside the UI, I'm just going to make a button. The first thing that you see is going to be a button. Clear. So if we click the button clear, then it will just clear the map. Map chunks. We just set it to a new map. I think that, oh, it's not compiled. We need to dereference him. That should be fine. Okay, so this one can clear the map. Okay, right, that's cool. Because it was annoying me that I'd clicked those things and it wasn't centered. Right, so now I've got the map. Now I can just sort of design it a bit better. Hey, it's not drawing the wall. Huh. I still remember my old map, and when I cleared it, there's something else to think about. It's not fully there must be something else. If I edit this map, does this one work? Great. So now I can't place anything. Seems. I'm in a debug zone, so Claude's come back with my algorithm. But before I start accepting changes from Claude, I want to figure out why the editor's broken now. There's something weird about sticky state, about control being stuck. Okay, anyway, let me see if I can do this. Clear. Okay, so then yeah, now I can place some walls. Okay, so there, a little wall section, and then platform is going to be the destination that the people want to get to. Right, and then we could spawn the people. Actually, I do want more. Right. I'm going to save that. Then if I restart the editor, okay, it's remembered the map. Okay. Annoying. Okay, so now agents. Right, if I spawn some agents, obviously these ones are going to go to the destination because we have the predetermined, hard-coded direction of travel, right? These guys go and they get stuck on the wall because the wall's in the way. So now, let's see if Claude's code example can generate a flow field that's going to correctly allow these guys to navigate in this mesh. Okay. So let's have a look at what the plan says. So I can't say this. Dijkstra. Very difficult. It must be Eastern European. Jiska flow field from platform tiles. Agents allow map chunk flow vec2f per tile, but the current field is all currently 0, 1. It needs to be computed as a gradient field pointing to each empty tile towards the nearest platform tile using the flood fill of the person's name that I can't really say properly. Platform tiles act as the goal sources. Walls and barriers are not traversable. The result is written to an existing map chunk flow and map chunk pressure repurposed as cost. I hope that it's not. That's annoying. It's used my value. I don't want it to use pressure for that. That was for something else. So dirty flag on a map. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, we have a dirty flag on the map because we only need to compute this flow field every time the map changes. So then we have update flow field, which is basically collect all the platform tile positions. Then it does the flood fill where we kind of iterate over the tiles and then we write the vectors. I mean, it seems fine. It seems like a fairly simple algorithm. So let's see. These tile names, place names, tile types, and enums, all of this kind of offsetting of indices needs cleaning up. Oh, it's done it. Okay, this has come in now. It seems to have crashed or be stuck in an infinite loop. Or just a busy loop. Yeah, I mean, it's stuck, so that's not ideal. So now I'm going to have to, I've not got a debugger attached, so I'll have to run with the debugger. Okay, so it seems it's in a busy loop. Call stack. Where's the debugger? Oh, there it is. Might be because it's doing this 3D. X, Z. It's only doing it for X and Z, though. Yeah, see, I think it's stuck in a loop here, in this while loop. Not good. Not a good look, Claude. Getting me stuck in an infinite loop. Let's see. Got to keep going this way. Hey, I was printing. Oh no, it's not going to be using the updated one. Okay, so I'm printing something out and it's just clearly stuck. I mean, is it busy? It's like, is it busy or is it just stuck in a loop? I don't think it should be taking this long. Mate, this is like grinding my machine to a halt as well. Just stop, mate. I can't stop it. It's gonna crash my whole machine. Honestly. Right, if you have to do Task Manager from your Claude generated code. This is not a good sign. Oh my god, what am I looking for? I can't even find it. Just, fuck off. Client. Right, that's not great. That's actually pretty annoying. And pretty horrible. I just wonder what it's doing here. We get a heap. A binary heap. Reset Fletcher Flow. Seed the heap with platform tiles. Should we ask Claude to figure it out? It gets stuck in... Stuck in an infinite loop in part 2. What a load of garbage. Right, okay, so it figured it out. Yeah, otherwise it's going to go into an infinite expansion. Stupid. Flood fill was expanding into unallocated chunks. Well, let's see. Oh, I need a new terminal now. Come on, why is everything so slow? Look, man, what the hell? It's not even opening one. Oh, fuck it, I'm gonna have to restart Visual Studio in total. VS Code, sorry. Fuck off. Do you want to help us improve Java? No. Fuck off. Do I want to help you improve Java? You must be having a laugh. Why have I got no terminal? Right, well. I'll do it from a separate PowerShell then. For God's sake, it's like... Some of these tools just, they piss me off. Okay, there's cargo build. And then we can run the client. Take a look at rat race. Oh, okay. So now look, okay, all of the allocated chunks have some sort of value. And then the agent, no matter where we're going to drop them, so if we drop an agent, okay, but it has worked, so we basically have okay. So that was basically, what do we have now? I think I'm going to probably call it there. It has been 2 hours, or has it been longer? Oh, for God's sake. I don't understand why I don't have a terminal. Why? Right, well, here it is, a flow field. Basically, to anyone who is watching, this was the original thing I prototyped with Claude. It was a terrible attempt at making a train station simulator. It looks more visual than what I've currently got, but it doesn't really work. The second attempt is building a map that's going to be better for the agents to navigate. And then what I can do now is I can add, these would be characters, whatever. They're going to be placed in the world, and they would find their way to the yellow squares, which is their destination. So I think they would all find their way there, except for the ones that are outside the... So then next time I have to do... make them avoid each other. And other kinds of behaviours. So all I wanted was a terminal in here, but now my terminal's broken. I can add my changes to Git. I'm going to call it there. Sort of, and that person, this one, what is it called? So the to-do list. A way to clear the map, we have that. And we have this thing, pathfinding, with Jigstra based flood fill. Okay, I'm going to call it there and have a rest now. So that is